On Christmas Eve, the sharp Ohio could cut through my thin coat as I stood before the polished mahogany door. My phone was still warm from Grandpa Joe's brief call. Elliot, get over here now. I'm at your folks' new place, he would say, his voice bubbling with excitement like he was holding on to a joyful secret. Grandpa Joy, a busy Chicago real estate developer, barely had time to visit. The thought of seeing him warm on being deposit the freezing night. I pushed the door open, and the glow of fireplace and the rich skin of roasted turkey wrapped around me. Grandpa sat at the head of the dining table, his eyes gleaming when he spotted me. He stood pulling me into a tight hug, his familiar cedar cologne washing away my exhaustion. Light, what do you think of this house? He asked, spit in his voice as if he had just happened me a treasure. It's stunning, Grandpa, I said, keeping my tone even. But it's my parents' plate. A heavy silence fell. Grandpa's face tightened, his gaze flicking from me to my father, Thomas, then to my stepmother Claire across the table. My father, usually composed and pale, his hand shaking as he gripped his wine glass. Claire coughed, forcing a tiny smile, her eyes flashing with unease. Your parents' house. Grandpa repeated, his voice turning as cold and sharp as the winter wind is outside. Elliot explained. I did not understand what was happening, but a knot of dread tightened in my chest. I looked at my father, expecting answers, but he stared at the table. Claire jumped in, her voice unsteady, joy its misunderstanding. This is the family home, but Grandpa ignored her. His eyes locked on me, and I knew a painful truth was about to unravel. My name is Elliot Harper. This is the story of years spent in the shadows of unfairness, pushed aside by my own family. If you feel like you don't belong, like an outsider in your own home, you might understand, even if you have not. I want you to hear this. A tale of a boy scared by rejection who found hope in the darkness. He grew up in a quiet Ohio suburb where autumn leaves painted the streets good and neighbors felt like family. But my family was different. My mother, Emily, died shortly after my birth due to complications I still don't fully grasp. She was light and never knew. My father, Thomas Harper, was a reserved man, distant as if my existence reminded him of a loss he wanted to bury. When I was 4, he made Claire, a woman with a sharp smile and calculating eyes. They had a son, Nathan, Nate to everyone. Nate was their world. To my father, Nate was the pride of the Harper name. To Claire, Nate was the her everything. Her reason to do and the indulge. And me was the stepson, the extra, a faint outline in the house I called home. From childhood, I felt the difference. At 6, I sat in a corner of the living room, watching Nate unwrap a shiny new drone, the kind every kid wanted. I got a in hand to a truck with a wobbly wheel. My father saying it was plenty for me. Nate needs new things to spark his creativity. Claire would say, as if was not worth more when I bought some street ads. My father gave a card. Good job, but don't slack off. If Nate got a scene, the house upped in price like he would own an award. I was not embarrassed truly. I just wanted to be seen to hear a kind award just once. But over time I realized I would never measure up in their eyes. Claire would say, Elliot, why can't you be more like Nate? But you are lucky to have a roof over your head. Her words, soft as they were, slitted deep. Was I a burden? Was I unworthy of love? We were not poor, but we were not wealthy. My father managed a local bank branch while Claire stayed home, treating Nate like royalty. I was to not complain. My father often said I was fortunate to have a place to live, but that place never felt mine. The room was a cramped attic with squeaky cot and a window facing a dim alley. Nate had a bright bedroom stuffed with gadgets and sports posters. Once I asked why I could not have a downstairs room like Nate's. My father snapped, don't ask for more than you deserve, Elliot. Those words shaped me. Reminded I was not valued, but I did not let myself sink. I learned to smile, to act like everything was fine. Even as pain churned inside, I vowed to break free one day and show I was not a failure they saw. At 18, I graduated high school with solid grades, unnoticed at home. I dreamed of college, maybe studying architecture to make Grandpa joy. The only one who cared proved, but that hope was crushed. When I asked about scholarships or loans, my father's eyes were cold. Elliot, we can't afford it, not our priority. He's got real potential. I stood frozen the wall crumbling Nate, who spent his days gaming and partying. Was the investment? I did not argue to cry. when it had left that night on my creaky cot, staring at the cracked ceiling. I swear I would make it on my own. If they did not believe in me, I would believe in myself. I started working at a big box store, much fast, picking up groceries, then stocking shelves. The hours were grueling, late nights, holidays, rude customers, but I did not complain. Every paycheck was a step toward freedom. I rented a small apartment with a peeling paint and a dripping sink, but it was mine. No more of Claire's sharp comments or my father's dismissive looks. Meanwhile, Nate got a free ride. My parents paid for his private school, bought him a new SUV, and never asked him to work. Once Claire came to the store, saw me the register, and smirked. This is what you were doing, Elliot. Such a pity. Nate won't ever have to do this. I clenched my jaw, forced a smile, but instead I screamed. Why am I less than him? Those years were lonely. I had few friends, too busy working and saving, but Grandpa Joy was my lifeline. From Chicago, running his real estate empire. He would call when he could. His calls kept me going. He would talk about this project, ask about my life, and say, Elliot, you are tougher than you now. Don't let anyone tell you different. I never told him how my father and Claire treated me. If he would think me weak, Grandpa shared stories of my mother, how Emily loved poetry and believed in fairness. He blamed himself for missing her bath, tied up with work. If he had been there, things might have been different, he would say, boy sinning. I did not blame him. I just watched. I would known her, felt her love. I grew used to my solitary life, fixing my sink, cooking basic meals, gardening my heart. But I did not know a secret was being, one that would change everything. At 21, I was still in my run-down apartment, working late shifts, simple meals, broken sleep, and quiet morning were my norm. I had little, but I had my independence earned 2 years of silent endurance. One summer afternoon, while scanning items at the employer register, my phone pinged. A text from Claire, come to the new house tonight. 1789 Maple Grove. Small gathering stared at it confused. He would never mention moving. No one said the boat a new place or asked if I wanted to join them. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but another part hoped it was a chance to connect, even slightly. I wanted to show I was not the quiet kid anymore. I would change. Maybe they had to. I stopped by a corner store, grabbing a modest bottle of Merlot and picked up a monogram scarf I would ordered for my father. Initial stage, low on cash. I still wanted my gift to mean something. The new house was in upscale neighborhood lined with young oaks and piston lawns. It felt like another world. Two-story homes with elegant doors, straight slate roofs and brick walkways. I parked in front of a pale brick house with a wide porch and blooming garden, holding the wine and a scarf. I stood before the door, heart racing, not with excitement, but with a strange sense. I was stepping into something foreign. Claire opened the door in a tailored dress. Makeup perfect. Elliot, come in, she said. I smiled detail inside. The living room gleamed. Hardwood floors and a stone fireplace, plush chairs, and a crystal chandelier. Framed photos lined the walls. My father and Claire's wedding met with a social photography. None of them. None of me. I was not surprised. My father was in the kitchen, singing wine, dressed in a crisp shirt, looking relaxed. He gave a quick nod. We made it. I handed him the gift, saying, Congrats on the house, Dad. He set the inside unopened and turned away. The party was small. New neighbors, an older couple, and a co-worker of my father's. They chatted about the area. Party balloons and plans for a hot tub. I sat quietly, listening unnoticed. No one asked about me. No one noticed I drank water instead of wine. We searched forever for this place. Claire said poorly to a guest. Got it just for before princess. Spiked. Thomas has a knack of a real estate. My father smiled, agreeing. I tried to join in smiling, wanting to celebrate the happiness, not knowing he was cheering for something stolen from me. Back at my apartment, I thought about texting Grandpa Joy, but stopped. He was busy aging. I didn't want to bother him. I lay on my bed, staring at the chip ceiling and fell asleep. Unaware of the truth, waiting to explode. After the house warming, life resumed its grind. No one mentioned the party or asked my thoughts on the house. No one suggested I move in, but then for every major holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Nate's birthday, my father and Claire's anniversary, I got a text, 6 p.m. dinner, Nate's excited to see you. Be prompt. I want to not because I believe they would change, but not of duty. I bought small, thoughtful gifts wrapped carefully. They were set aside unopened in my presence with no real thanks. Strangers still, they started pulling me into family photos. The first Christmas color said Elliot. Stand by it for the picture. Surprised, I complained. My father stood center and around net. I was at the edge, forcing a smile. The cameras flashed and I felt like a prop in a stage scan. They kept including me in photos, sometimes with everyone, sometimes just my father. One Claire touched my shoulder, smiling brightly, didn't get it. It was been included before. Why now? After Snail's birthday dinners, I asked lightly why all the family's photos lately. Claire laughed, just capturing memories. Elliot, your family right. I nodded, but something felt off like I was being maneuvered into a rule I didn't fit. On Christmas, when I was 23, the truth hit, it was freezing. I had finished by my shift at 4:30 p.m., sipping coffees in my apartment, planning to airy blade. Eat quickly, pose for photos, and leave. My phone rang. Grandpa Joe Elliot, come now. I went to your folks' new place, 7089 Maple Grove. Wanted to surprise you. I froze. Grandpa in Ohio. He rarely left Chicago. Tied to his business. Why was he at their house? I grabbed my coat and rushed over. The house glowed with Christmas lights. With was on the door, a tree sparkling inside. I knocked, heart pounding. Claire opened the door, her smile fluttering. Elliot, where are you? She stopped, eyes darting behind me. Elliot, my boy, come in. Grandpa's voice boomed. He stood in the living room, tall and commanding, his grey hair catching the chandelier's light. He hugged me, a mix of warmth and tension in his grip. I wanted to surprise everyone. He said, this house is something, you happy here, unneeded me. I don't live here, Grandpa, I just visit. His smile vanished, his eyes narrowing as they shifted to my father by the fireplace. Wine in hand, Claire spoke quickly, Joy, it's Nisab. Elliot likes his independence, don't you? Her eyes begged me to agree. Grandpa ignored her, his voice low. Elliot, you do not live here. I swallowed hard. I rent an apartment on the south side, paid for with my store job. Silence swallowed within the room. My father gripped his glass tighter. Headboard, Claire stammered joy. We thought it was best. They wanted this his own space. And Nate needs room too. Enough. Grandpa voice cut like a knife. Thomas explained. 2 years ago, I gave you $450,000 to buy a three-bedroom house here for Elliot to give him a strong start. It was clear to was for him. So why is he in down apartment while you live in that house? My father's face den of color. Color opened her mouth, but no words came. I stood stunned, the floor dropping away. A house for me for $150,000. I looked at Grandpa, then my father searching for a mistake. There was none. My father set his glass down, voice shaking, and thought the house was better for the whole family. Elliot's fine on his own. Ned's young, he needs a good environment needs. Jumper road, stripping toward him. Elliot escaping by a drum, working nights while you live in his house. Put in your name, did not you? My father said nothing. Head low, shoulders trembling, Claire found her voice. Joy, you don't get it. Elliot's not my son, Ned the future of this family. Elliot does not deserve quiet. And Grandpa shook the room. Elliot is my son, my daughter's blood. My grandson, I trusted you. Thomas took care of him. You stole his gift. Lied. With these staged photos, he pointed at a firm picture. I thought English was happy here, but it was a shame of to hide for our greed. Thought Titan, the photos and the for a smile. It was all of the full Grandpa. To fake a happy family, look at my father, waiting for anything. In apology and excuse, he stayed silent. Elliot Grandpa said, softer but firm. Take your things, we are coming to Chicago. This house will be yours as I meant it to be Thomas. My lawyer will handle you, Claire sobbed. But I felt nothing for her. My father spoke but rough. Elliot, I wanted to what was best for the family best. I said could but came. You never saw me as family. I spent my life trying to earn near pride, but you only saw Nate. You stole my chance and hide it. I turned away. Done. Grandpa's hand stood on my shoulder. His eyes pained but solid. Let's go, Elliot. You don't belong here. The Christmas night stung as we left the house meant for me. Street lights glowed on the snowboard road. My brain visible in the cold. Grandpa led me to black SUV, where his driver Mark opened the door to the hotel, Grandpa said firmly. I slid in beside him, feeling like I would step into a new reality. You okay, Elliot? He asked, his gaze searching. I don't know. I said, burst rough. It's all too fast. He nodded, patted my knee. Things will change. We are coming to Chicago. We start fresh, just us. I stared out the window, Christmas lights blowing past Chicago, a city I would only known through campus tours of building his empire. I would never imagine living there, but now it was my new beginning. The next morning we flew to Chicago. From the plane, it was snow, dusty fields, blue, leaving behind my old life. Kempa lead a financial paper glancing at me with warm smiles. At her, Mark wandered with the SUV. We drove through Chicago towering skyline. Glasses still gleaming in the winter sun, a wall apart from Ohio's smoked streets. We pulled into a gated nearby hood lined with ancient lanes and grand homes. Mark stopped at a raw iron gate behind which a driveway led to three-story mansion with many court. My jaw dropped. Your house, Grandpa? I asked. Was shaking. He chuckled, clapping my shoulder. Welcome home. Elliot, yours too. The mansion was breathtaking marble fire, winding staircase, modern art on the walls. The living room, therefore, my apartment with tall windows overlooking a garden, pool, and patio. The air smelled of cedar and leather like a luxury hotel. I don't know what to say. I murmured, clutching my small bag. You don't need to get past it. Leading he upstairs, he opened a door to large bedroom, king bed, and wake seat. Garden view. Anyone have to sit on the decks and soft rug underfoot. This is your fresh start. No pressure, just a new beginning. I sat on the bed stand hours ago. I was in my leaky apartment. Now I was here in a room I could not have dreamed of, but the house in Ohio meant for me still stuck. That night, Grandpa took me go to a sleek downtown restaurant. Candlelight glowed as he ordered a fine Merlot, sipped sparingly and used luxury. That he said, burst serious. We need to talk about your father. The house, everything I needed, a heart racing 2 years ago. I sent Thomas $4,000 year future. It was too easy to oversee it, so I trusted him. I was wrong. My fears conscience so dead kept it for herself. Grandpa's I draken, that's not all. Since we were kids, I sent money for your school clothes, everything to give you the best. I thought Thomas was doing it for you, but hearing you were in a rundown apartment, working nights, he realized the keep it himself and Claire's family. But Grandpa's legal team was relentless, presenting proof of his intent for the house and found not to support me. In court, I spoke for the first time. My voice shook, but very steady as I described my childhood, always second to Nate, living in the attic, working to survive while my father and Claire lived off Grandpa's money. It was not their son. I said it was an obligation they ignored. The judge, a woman with kind but firm eyes, listened intently. The railing came swiftly. The Maple Grove house was transferred to my name was Grandpa indent. My father was ordered to repay a yard of misused funds, forcing him and Claire to downsize. Claire's tears in court left me cold. She would never shown me warm. My father tried to apologize in a letter, admitting he would favored Ned to keep pace with Claire. I did not respond. The heart was too deep. I chose to stay in Chicago, enrolling in a university architecture program. My tuition covered by Grandpa. The mansion became my home, a place of safety and possibility. I spent evenings with Grandpa, learning about his business, his struggles, and his love for my mother. He showed me her old poetry books, her words echoing the fairylands she believed in. I felt closer to her than ever. Years later, Nate reached out. Grandpa's health had begun to falter. Nate, now in college himself, wanted to reconnect. We met at a Chicago cafe. He looked older, humbler. I did not see how unfair it was. Elliot, he said, I grew up thinking it was normal. I'm sorry, his apology was not enough to erase the past, but it was a start. We used a tentative bridge between uh, We housed an tentative bridge between us. One spring evening, I stood in Grandpa's garden, pointed to a rose bush he would planted decades ago. It nearly died last winter. I said I thought it was gone, but this year it's blooming stronger than ever. Grandpa smiled, his eyes twinkling like you. Elliot, you found your light that night. I walked before into the mansion, hung up my jacket and climbed into bed. The Ohio house was a symbol of Betrayal was nine, but I did not need to defend me. I was Elliot Harper, survivor, dreamer, architect of my own future. The truth had set the fate, and with every step, I was building a life that was truly mine.